I have a quick second before I have to do, daycare pickup. And I was talking to someone about a commission for paintings. And we just got talking about passions and creativity as usual. Anyway, I spent all that time, and the reason I'm here to do a creativity chat is I realized, as always, I always think these things and think that I think like this and nobody else thinks like this, and yet or assume that everybody else thinks like this. Anyway, the question, if you saw, is on what do you imagine your inner creativity is like? So like that whole concept. So hashtag below in the comments, creativity chats, what your inner creativity is like. You know how if you can think about yourself and there's different parts of you, there's the playful you and there's the serious you. And so I like to think, when I need to summon up those parts of me, I like to think about these archetypes, I guess you could call them, or they're just different versions of me. And so, for our topic today is obviously the creative me, the inner muse, the inner artist, the inner creative. And I always see her as this young girl in plaits sometimes, and she is cheeky and playful. And I know at my most, I guess these inner people, not that you're schizophrenic or anything, they at your most extreme. So what is she like? If you were to close your eyes and visualize what that inner creative is like when you're at your most creative, or when you're feeling your most creative, or when you feel like you're really connected to that creative part of you, what is she like? Comment below if you're watching a replay of this. I would love to hear what your inner creative is like. Oh, I'm running out of battery. So for me, she's like a young girl, and she's so, I feel this, she's most playful, she's cheeky, she wants to try new things, she isn't afraid to experiment, and if it kind of goes wrong, it's kind of almost what she's hoping for in that experiment. And if things kind of blow up, and it's almost sciencey, where you just I'm curious is the word, and just willing to kind of throw everything into the air and see where everything lands, kind of thing. That's the inner creative. So what does she look like for you? Really take a moment to kind of connect to, think about when you are your most creative, or when you're having your most fun. I reckon fun is part of it. And what does she look like? And try and visualize that person's almost separate to you, but at the same time knowing that that's kind of what you are like. And so the reason I'm asking this, and for you to comment below what your inner creative is like, so that you can really tap into it. And so I'd love to have that discussion and conversation with you about it. Is also, I find when you're feeling not that creative, when you're feeling like you would never be creative again, or when you're feeling stuck in resistance, or when you're trying to start a project, or you're in the middle of a project and you don't know what to do, I like to summon up that vision and that image of her in my mind and go, what would she do next? What would she want to start with? What would she like to do as her next step? And that always helps me to, think outside the box, because, instead of when I'm so stuck in my head and I'm overwhelmed with creativity issues and problem solving and overwhelmed with doubt and fears, I find just being able to visualize that inner creative and kind of tap into her and what she would like really helps to, take myself out of that fear and doubt feeling and into what would she want to do next? So what would she want to try? What was she's probably like the crazy friend who's like, come on, why not? Why don't you try this? Let's see what happens. And at the same time, she, even though that sounds like the crazy friend, she's also the one that's probably going to think of more lateral ways and creative ways to problem solve if things do blow up, and go, well, what else can we do next, kind of thing. So yeah, just quickly, what I thought I just wanted to chat with you about that. So I'd love to hear what your inner creative is like. And just for context, I guess, I find for me, I also have an um, inner medicine woman, shaman woman, because I really like kind of that idea of looking at different ways, especially as I've become a mum, of healing and in terms of looking and being caring for emotional health and mental health as well as physical health. And that's, I guess, an easy way of imagining it, like a medicine woman. Although for me, I've always visualized her more like medicine woman, witch doctor, shaman type lady. And I also have an inner Amazonian woman who's best friends with the medicine woman, and she's the one I need when we just need to like physically just get in there, or really feel all that emotional kind of intensity and wants to like go out there and fight and stuff. So Amazon woman's in there. And I also have an inner mafia woman who is basically in charge, and she's the one that, you know, has that masculine energy of like loving structure and being able to delegate and making big plans and have running an empire, basically. That you know, so if you know me, that's very much kind of all those women I visualize, and I tap into all their different kind of strengths and use them sometimes when I feel like I'm just don't have the energy to show up and do the things I need to do. So if you, I guess if anything, there's a lesson for today, besides, you know, just thinking about what your inner creative is and when you're feeling stuck, is think about all these the different parts of you, and when you can tap into all the different strengths that you have and experiences that you have. And especially on those days when you feel like you just don't have it in you to do the things that you want to do, if you can visualize these people in you, then it will help tap into their strengths and to kind of show up and to do the work that you want to do. Yeah. So if you can comment below, hashtag creativity chats, and share what your inner creative is like. What does she look like? What does she personalities like? And how you can tap into her kind of natural ways of being and energy, and use that for showing up in your creative work and life. Love to hear it. Yeah, that's all. I better go. My battery's running out to do daycare pickup. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And yeah.